Alright, how's everybody doing? Golden, how you doing, darling? I know it's been probably a little while since everybody, including Golden, has heard a voice come from this side, since it's mostly been, my enjoyment out of just doing, little special music presentations, if I could put it that way. But I think it's time, mainly, that I need to do one of these here. That's just rare and raw. If I could use that term. First of all, past couple of days, those who have been listening, especially Miss Golden, I know she knows about these types of situations and everything. I have been going through a hell of a time with these blocking teams. They are literally meant to do nothing but attack. And here in the past couple of days, yesterday especially, it was more of the physical kind. Don't worry, I'm okay. Everything, it's more injury spawn than anything, but I'm okay, and that's all that matters, I guess, right? But I did want to put this out there because Golden Darlin, I hadn't seen you up there a couple of nights, and whenever that happens, of course, that's, you do that as long as you want. Take a good rest is what I think you deserve, a nice long good rest. But on the other side of that, flip that coin, when you don't see it, you kind of, I kind of get a little worried about you, darling, and that's just me. Okay, so I just wanted to put this one out there, just so, we could get those few things mentioned there, and I hope you're doing okay, and I hope to see you again soon here. But what I am going to do is, for everybody else, including yourself, I'm going to put a little bit of information up here about these, forgive my language, these damn blocking teams. These blocking teams that were purposely put in place that when you find out about your estate and your authentic, sovereign American privileges, and that includes finance. Now, one thing you need to know about these blocking teams that are trying to block you from claiming your estate and or your enterprise state, your business state, your privilege to, basically, we're prepaid people as American sovereigns, so you're privileged to spend freely as you wish without hoarding to take the country over. That's what they're trying to do. That's the only rule there is. And that's what it's for. All right, and it's our resources, and we make dividends on all those resources, the profits, by the chief executive officer, and if they're good in business. Well, I couldn't think of anybody else good in business like that than the one we got right now. So that's called the chief executive officer of our business side of these United States, being states of being, living being, of and for America. And that's President Donald J. Trump. He's very good at it. And I think you're going to see an improvement here shortly on that aspect of it. But anyhow, they have this really bad habit, these blocking teams, these what I call occupiers. That's what they're known by, the architect of the Capitol's office, occupiers, as they try to occupy your identities, your bodies, everything, and try to live as you. And that's who they are, but they have this really bad habit of, should anybody come up against them, like myself, of course, then they're not intelligent people at all. So for them to call themselves intelligence agencies, that's where they nest, that's what they call themselves, no. Okay, they can't even come up with their own self arguments. Okay, they have to have somebody else do it or you do it. So what they do in an immediate situation is they come up, they listen to what you say, and then they just throw it right back at whomever is listening to the argument. And they blame you for doing it. I call that direct 180, the direct 180 opposite blame game. And that's exactly what they're doing. So just so you know that's the little trick they use. And also, it fills the one side of the parallel constructional language that they use as well. One side one way, one side the other, right? Now I'm going to try to get this out because I told myself I'd make this quick. Where all this, there's a guy named Jordan Maxwell out there, and he kind of jokes about it, but it's not really a joke. When people, and please forgive me for saying this, but, when people make love and they conceive, there's usually what some people might call a moment of climax, I guess you could say. And, or the Big Bang, or the Big Bang Theory, or whatever, TV shows are usually named after those. Well, back in World War II in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, via the U.S. Army, which is who brought General Reinhard Gehlen in, one of the biggest Nazis of all, in, well, they kind of cordoned off these black sites in Oak Ridge to do the nuclear bombs. That's funny because they call themselves the Rebens bomb. People without a nation. They ain't getting this one. But that also matches, does it not? A nuclear bomb. Well, we are experiencing the nuclear bomb right now, people. Because that's exactly where all this MK Ultra stuff and everything seems to have sprouted from. First do that, then get their mind, manufactured with this type of conversion, whether it be from an abductee or from a, all of a sudden popped into the world, that's nuclear, popped into the world, creature, whatever that is, and then have them MK Ultrafied and only obey to, guess who's centrally located commands. Okay, so in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, all these black site operators were given the titles of none other than engineers. Engineers. And that's where you get all the engineers today. That's where you get all the signal engineering terms today. And all of that stuff. It is absolutely sick. So right now, this is the nuclear attack, people. Especially because of what went on with me yesterday and lately. And for the past almost 17 years. Okay, this is their nuclear attack. It seems the main ones go into the, if you remember during the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, pre-designed deep bunkers, luxury bunkers that they could hunker down in until it was all over and then come out and just mop up what was left. I don't think so. In fact, I kind of have another feeling that, I don't know. I'll leave that for the best of imaginations to figure that out, but good luck getting those doors open, and don't be surprised if there's, I don't know, they could smell odors from pleasant odors to maybe non-pleasant odors. I'm not sure, but gee, wouldn't that be a thing? But anyway, so when you've got all these people participating in a conspiracy, or this is the way it's pronounced, people, cons, because they're all con men and con women, from the Rhine River Valley in Nazi Germany, who came up from, you guessed it, Egypt, but they're not the real Egyptians, they just call themselves Egyptians. The gypsies, the grifters, the drifters, the actresses, actors, the, con men and con women. Well, the correct pronunciation for that people is called cons, because they are cons, conspiracy. because they're committing inland piracy. They know they're not supposed to do that, and they know that that is big-ass treason against any country. It's not just ours, against any country they come upon. And I can't tell you how many countries they've been thrown out of by this point. Okay, so I'm just saying so. And if you wonder where all these, popped on creatures or actual descendants or, half kids or whatever, but they're on the take, if they're arguing against, free and fair elections, if they're arguing against everybody getting the, their free and fair privileges of spending and all that stuff, and they don't want you to have it, but they want it, well, that's them, people. That's them. And then you can surmise who they are of, why would they not want to release the full JFK files, or the full Epstein files, or the full these files, or the full that files? Well, probably, and this will answer everybody's questions out there, and I can almost put, the most assured thing on it. I'll put it that way. I guarantee you it will just about and almost answer any doubt of a question that you may still have. So you mean if this country is infiltrated with Franks or Nazis or gypsies who are orchestrating a big hoax and do not want it found out because they're all on the take, and they want to continue to be on the take because they are using all the American sovereign people as American slaves so they can have their fancy hairdos and Gucci bags and latest phones and all that shit. That is our, forget my language, that is our resources, people. That is our dividends, and that is our resources. And they are stealing them, they are issuing them, they are distributing them at their leisure, or at least up till recently they were. Now, if that doesn't get your blood boiling, I don't know what will. But that's who these idiots are. And that's who they came, and that's what they came into this country to do. You can look up Project Paperclip, or you can look up Operation Paperclip, or Project Rusty. Because Project and Operation are two Nazi terms, I hate to say so. But that's exactly what they are. And speaking of those cordoned off, black site areas, like an Area 51, or, they create some Fantasia-like UFO thing around there or whatever, So what? We're supposed to get first view of that anyway, not some unwanted, uninvited, unauthorized agency, centrally located or not. We're supposed to get full look at that first anyway, not somebody wanting to play God. All right? That's just the way it is. All right? And one of the other traits, and I'll let it go here, because I did want to keep this short. One of the other traits that is programmed into their MK Ultra 5 psyche, because they've destroyed a mind to actually make one that will obey them and them only, is obsession. Obsession. Meaning once they assign you to be obsessed with one person in particular, then it's like for years. They have this, cult thing like, I choose you and this and that. You don't choose anybody unless they choose you back. All right, so make sure that whoever gets that through their thick skull, that's just not the way it's going to be. Okay? And, lately I've heard a lot of these, I don't watch mainly them. I mean, I like my sports and just the normal stuff, I just want to be a usual, ordinary American son, right? But, they pop stuff up on your page, so what the heck? And you take a look at it. Well, what I've noticed And Miss Golden, by all means, please don't take offense to this. This is you are one of the few. There's actually quite a few good ones, but one of those quite a few good ones that are true to your crafts, Darlin, and I really, really appreciate you doing that. But they try to get a lot of them hooked on, and you're knowledgeable of it. That's one of the things I was proud of before. But there's a lot of them that are new. They're just starting out, and they don't really know how to handle it. And they have got them thinking they're trying to tell the story through these girls or guys, and they've got something. One more time, I've said it before, but one more time, I want to make sure that it's crystal clear. Yes, those blocking teams, those estate blocking teams, like the ones that are on me, or the one that is on me, they've got a crew leader, an assistant crew leader. The crew leader is the one that's obsessed. Usually she's a female, and the assistant's male. And they call that a monastery, the club, a monastery. And they use it for everything. It's gross, okay? But these things need to go. They need to be taken off of the American people ASAP. They are not safe to be in public. Even if they left, and quit doing all this horrific crap to me and went somewhere else, I wouldn't. I don't know if I could take it or not, because I know what would be coming. And that is a public safety risk, public safety health hazard. And not to mention it's treason. It's full on treason, insurrection, sedition, everything. Okay, but that's what those are, those blocking teams. But they need to remove these things from the American sovereign people ASAP, because they are nothing but spies. That's all they are. And they're given a centrally located okay to create havoc inside these good people's lives, the American sovereign's lives, until they literally expire. That is not okay with me, and that's not what I'm about. All right? So if there is anybody that can pull real rank and authority, those need to be pulled off right now, because they are a public safety hazard, a public safety risk. That's who they are, and I don't mind saying so. The way they take it, they will say that they are an X. They've been trying to fake, getting just paperwork, buy paperwork only, life insurance. They'll use the tarot card readers and say, buy life insurance, buy this and that, buy whatever, and then they're married to this person. Or they're taking out life insurance on them. Now that person just ended up dying, meaning probably myself. Well, that is not the way it works. They're still operating in parallel fantasy land, okay? And the way I found out in my situation was this. Regarding this particular EX, they say it, it sounds the same way as language, and linguistics is the spoken language. But if they sound the same, they'll use it. So EX and X sound the same, right? X and X. Well, let me just be loud and clear, to make it loud and clear, that in this particular blocking team, which I call it, I have never, ever, nor would I want it, because I've already seen who she is and what she is and what that thing that helps her, which is the dude. They are disgusting. And there is no way that I would lower myself to that level to be called as such. There is just no way. So that is a completely false implication of a statement, if they ever give it. And I had never, ever had anything to do with these idiots. One of them's name's Maylene Taylor Sutera. The other one is Larry, doesn't want to give his last name. But never. Because they are sick, and they are sick in the head. And she is absolutely, these two at least, are absolutely beyond criminally insane. Okay, so I just want to make sure that's clear. All right, that's what the difference between EX and X is. Okay, they will refer to themselves as X, as the shit, and EX as your X this or X that, former, No, neither one of the three, and I will say three, are true, in my case anyway. Okay, so I just want to make that very clear, and I'm sorry I ran so long. Golden, Darlin, I'm so sorry this ran long, but I did want to get this out and very clear. And Golden, Darlin, please be aware that they also, like, once they find out that if someone like myself, tends to appreciate certain food or certain pastimes or certain, it may even go to people or even, females or whatever it may be. Just remember, okay, unless you hear it from me and unless you talk to me or hear it from me, it's just not there, because that is a primary and secondary main staple use of their less than truthfulness or lying that they do daily, every day. Okay, and I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying that please be aware of that. And I know you're a very beautiful and intelligent gal, and I know you'll exercise that to its fullest intent, because up to this point, I've seen nothing but. Okay, darling. So anyhow, I hope everybody has a nice, rest of the weekend, or however you want to say. And Miss Golden, I hope you, have also a very nice rest of the weekend. Everybody, please take care. Please stay safe. God bless all of you. And I wish you only the best. Okay? Everybody, please take care. Bye-bye.